All right, what is going on, everyone, and welcome to my end of the league build showcase. Now, every league I like to do this just basically as a record, and I could go back to it years later and be like, hey, I did this. But I wanted to show you my build. We basically went full 40 out of 40. It's about less than 3 weeks into the league, which I went pretty hard on it. So, yeah, the Settlers of Kalguur League, how was it overall? I thought it was fine. I think the challenges were pretty easy, and overall fine. So what did I do for the build? I did the classic. This was kind of, I would say, more or less the meta for this league. The Hierophant Ice Nova Frostbolts. Now, I did make some changes. You guys have probably seen a video or two of other YouTubers doing it, streamers, and I thought it was overall pretty fun. So I made some changes. We're going to talk about it, and I'll leave some links in the description to everything else. So what did I change, and what makes this build unique? I'll also leave some videos and clips of me doing every Uber, some tier 17s and everything at the end. So how do we start? What do we do? This is the end game build, and I will admit there are some stuff that I need to finish upgrading. So it's not like I'm done playing, but it's mostly, for the most part, I'm done gearing out. Everything else is min-maxing. So what I decided to do for this build was go the more defensive route, because last league I played the blink and mirror arrow. You guys can watch that video, and it was kind of a glass cannon, not so much, but I mean, like, I would die a lot. So I wanted to play a more defensive style build this league, and so what we did was 90% reses and like 75, and then how to get it to 90. So first of all, we did the Katava's Thirst. I know you could use a rare and get more defensives, but I just like the 1 button build versus 2, because if you don't use the Katava's Thirst, you have to cast the Ice Nova and then Frostbolt, which is 2 different buttons plus everything else. So I found it more fun just to play 1, even if it meant doing a little bit less DPS, but it is what it is. So we went Lightning Coil instead of a rare chest piece, simply because the defensives, some physical damage taken as lightning. That's actually strong, because a lot of enemies in this game are either like chaos or lightning damage. So I thought that was just overall good. Mage Blood, obviously, this is the super rare item that everyone wants to go for. I actually did 40 out of 40 without Mage Blood. Let me see if I still have the belt. I think this was the belt I used, the rare one, before I got Mage Blood. And then the jewel I used was like corrupted blood cannot be inflicted on you. That's about it. So you don't need a Mage Blood. It's just nice to have. And then if you don't have it, just use a Stygian Vise from Abyss, and then get resistances, life, mana, and then that's about it. So after that, the wands we used, these are, I think I paid about like 60 to 80 divs for each of them. And ideally, this is what you want. So these are what I had as like beginner ones. And then I remembered this is one that I used before it. So yeah, so what you want for the most part is cast speed. That's very high priority. Spell damage, that's where your damage is coming from, and mana, because mana is, survivability and damage. So anything else is a bonus. So spell damage, mana, cast speed, 3 important stats you want to go for. The extra ones that you can go for are a chance to deal double damage, which is a craftable, and then I chose 5% damage per endurance charge, simply because you get 4 permanently from endurance charges just from being a hero. And where is it? It's like these two. Yeah, you get 4 to minimum endurance charges just off the bat. So that's straight up 20% more for having endurance. And then for this one, we have basically the same thing, but the difference is what we have is 20% chance to deal double damage while focused. So with this, what does that mean? When you use a weapon with double damage or focus, you get this ability called focus right here, right? And then, so it is a castable, so it's 1 extra button if you want it, which I think it's worth it. So basically it looks like this. It puts the little, like, icon above your head, and then you do more damage while you have that up. So yeah, that's the weapons. The amulet I used is Aziri's Foible, and I personally chose Mind Drinker simply because it gives maximum mana and recover mana on kills, so basically more survivability and more overall mana pool. Another option that you could use is this one with a Disciple of Unyielding, which is 1 endurance charge and then, you know, more damage per endurance. So if you want to go for the more glass cannon route or more damage route, this is also a good option. I kind of alternate between it just to see like how much more of a difference it is, but I kind of like the survivability more. There's another one you could use called Inveterate, which is more suppressed spell damage, like more defensive layers, and that's also good. So Disciple of the Unyielding is the more damage route. The Mind Drinker is just more like overall mana and everything, which we'll talk about why I chose that in a second. And then your rings are just going to be like resistances. This one's interesting because when you get a Mage Blood, like obviously your resistances are different, and then you can use like flasks that are permanently on. So like maximum LE resist, lightning resist, and then more maximum. So you build a little bit differently based on if you have or don't have a Mage Blood, and we talked about what I had earlier, which was this one. So if you don't have a Mage Blood, you just get a belt with whatever your missing resistances are. And so this one, I decided to go with the Cerulean Ring, which is more increased mana, because I didn't really need the resistances as much. And then obviously cast speed is nice, life mana standard, and whatever resistances. So 8% reduced mana cost of skills, just nice to have, and increased total recovery from life leech, which is something important. So where do we get our life leech from? So right here, we use lightning damage as life leech. This is a huge damage one. And then you could do the, what is it? Eater of Worlds, I think. Yeah, Eater of Worlds implicit for the 0.4% life leech. You can get that up to like 0.7 if you decide you want to invest heavily into it. But, you know, I haven't got to that point yet. And then the shoes are... the one thing we wanted to look for was avoid elemental ailments, simply because, you know, that's important. So what we do with this is like basically avoidance to elemental ailments, and you could get more from jewels that we'll talk about in a second. So yeah, those are the gear pieces we use, and then obviously a Progenesis, which is just a really nice item. If you don't have it, use a health blast, and then you'll also be fine. I actually just got this one yesterday, and the reason why I wanted it is, well, it's one, it is very good, but two, I just like the shiny foil, and that actually is like, I paid 70 divs for it. I think I might have overpaid, but it's shiny. All right, so what else are we going to talk about? We are going to talk about the jewels right now. So first of all, what do we have? Unnatural Instinct. This is very important. Grants all bonuses to unallocated passives in here. So if you look at this, you can see the list of like stats and everything. Hold on, let me show you this one real quick. So you guys can see all the stats of everything over here, which is actually very nice to have. It's just overall a good chain of skills. And then down here, we have the Light of Meaning, which is basically the League's version of whatever, like the stats and everything. So there's a few options you can go for. I have +5 to maximum mana just because I like to see the mana pool go bigger. That's why we have the Mind Drinker as well. But if you want more damage, you could. There's one for like 6% or something lightning damage for everything in here. So that's actually like huge damage. If I had the lightning one, then sold it for the mana one just because I wanted, you know, I played more survivable. And then this one is a little bit extra. We have a rare jewel right here. So it's +7 life mana and then 10% mana. 2% maximum lightning resist. This is very important because the lightning resists right here is going to be carrying everything. So I have 90, which is the cap you can have that's not 75, right? And then so what else do we have over here? We have Melding of the Flesh. This one is one you only get if you have a Mage Blood, simply because you are going to be minus resing everything to cap it. So what this thing does is like it reduces all your resistances and like maximum, but you only need to focus one elemental resistance, so like one instead of all three of them. So how do we get 90? You're probably wondering is so first of all, let's say you are at 75. How do you get to 90 from there? First of all, you get +5 from the Topaz Flask, which is why you need a Mage Blood for that, and to keep it up 100% of the time. So we're at 75, then +5 to that is 80. And then to get the other percentages, there is... where is it? If you use a rare one, you can also get +2. And then in our gear, we use... where is it? Purity of Lightning. So we use Purity of Lightning to get an additional 5% maximum resistances. And if you empower it, you need a level 20... basically, you need 21 plus a level 3 empowered to get it to 23. You have to have level 23, and then otherwise it's the difference between 4 and 5 maximum resistances. So we're at 85 right now from that one. And then I think the other one is somewhere else. So we're at 85, and then we have 87 from the +2 here. If you use a rare socket jewel in here, then that's +2. But if you use a rare helmet, you can also replace it that way, or you could use both and then replace that one. So then we're at 87, and then like all of these are just extra bonuses. And where am I getting the other 3 from? Actually, forgot. It's probably a passive or something. But yeah. So what else are we using? We have the Ancestral Vision. So basically dexterity and modifiers to chance to suppress spell damage applied to avoid elemental ailments. So ideally you want to get this closer to 100 as possible, and it is possible to get it. So assuming your spell resist or a spell suppress chance is 50 or 100% maxed out, you get 50%, and then you get the other 50% from avoid elemental ailments from your shoes. So I have 55% here. So I'm not completely maxed out. I just have to min-max a little bit more to get it. But basically, you would get your spell suppress as high as possible, and then you would basically avoid all elemental ailments, which is really nice, actually. So then lastly, we have our Timeless Vanity Jewel. If you know how to use the Timeless Jewel calculator, you can Google it, and then it basically tells you the numbers of everything. So what you really want is the Doriani one, and then what you would look for is either cast speed, mana, spell damage, the usual, and all of this bypasses energy shield, like the non-chaos. So gain 15% of maximum life as energy shield, which is pretty nice, actually. So yeah, with the clarity on as well. And then you would be getting another 1% maximum lightning resist from Cult of the Lightning, which is part of the jewel. And so that's +1 here. This is also important if you are trying to cap out everything. And then one other jewel is the Watcher's Eye. We have clarity on, and we want a few of the options. Damage taken from mana before life. Very strong for survivability. And then the next one we have maximum mana as energy shield while affected by clarity. So we don't ideally care about clarity as in a maxed out jewel. We use it, or a gem. We use it for these two effects, which is really nice. And they're like survival points. So yeah, that's why we have that. And we have all of these on. So our clarity is, where is it? Clarity, it's just level 1. And that's about it. We don't level this one up. We really just want it for the bonuses. Oh yeah, you get the extra maximum resistances from the Lightning Coil Corrupt. So that should be 90 in theory. And if not, if you're still missing any and you want to use a rare helmet, this is how you get it. You put like the rare implicit on here, and that's about it. Okay, so with that said, this is kind of extra and optional, but what you could do instead is if you were a beginner, this one takes 6 points to get the timeless here, but if you want to put it down here, it's 5 points. So yeah, depending on what level you're at, like I'm level 98, I'll probably push 100 by the end of the league, but until then it doesn't really matter. So yeah, aside from that, that's everything I use. Topaz, resistances, flask. This one helps when you have mage blood. Chance to suppress spell damage, always nice to have it permanently, and phasing. And then onslaught, which is, you could change this one out if you have a jewel that puts you immune to corrupted blood and bleeding and all that stuff. You could replace that for like any more defensives, like evasion bonus or whatever. And so that's what I have. And then Progenesis, just nice to have. Okay, so this I guess is just a bonus. And what did I do to make currency in this league? So this is the thing I have. So Strongbox and Scarabs. Ideally, you just want Scarabs, and then like all of this right here. Strongboxes are over here, and then Scarabs are over here. Get all those, and then I used Eater of Worlds for the most part, mostly for the divines. But ultimately, if you don't want Eater of Worlds, you could do Exarch, or you could do literally anything else. The other things I did was Ultimatum and Expedition. Expedition is very fun. I never played the actual league, so I just like Expeditions, just big bomb, one bomb thingy. And then Ultimatum is definitely not a beginner friendly one because it's very intense. You need a lot of like survivability, which is what this build can do. So I'd recommend not doing ultimatums unless you can do it. And then Rituals and Scarabs. I played around with Rituals for a little bit because that's the one thing you need to get the Light of Meaning. So like this is the new league thing, and you get the boss like invitation, I guess you can call it, from Rituals, and then you just keep doing it until you get it. I did not get lucky, but I did like about 40 of the king thingies. And then yeah, so what else have I done? This is my tree. That's what I did. Oh yeah, the Pantheons. I used this one, Soul of Shakiri, so you basically take reduced chaos damage. That's important. If you don't have it, you could also do this. You cannot be blinded or maimed. Those are fixable with jewels, which I'll be doing in the future. And then reducing chaos damage is always nice. And then I chose Brine King, so you could avoid being frozen, chilled, and all the stuff. Fixable with avoidable, like, you know, this thingy, avoid elemental ailments. If you use it at 100, you literally get rid of this. And then you would choose Lunaris to avoid projectiles and everything. So when you're min-max, this is the difference. But as a beginner, you would use this one. So yeah, how does this build work? Basically, before I show you all the maps, this is how it works. Your Sigil of Power. This is going to be your big thing. Frost Shield. You see your energy shield right here. Places that one for a little bit, and you get the energy shield. It also does damage when enemies go into it and slows them, which is always nice. Punishment is basically when enemies are on low life and they basically take more damage. You would push this every now and then. Focus is one where it's like what we talked about earlier. Focus, deal double damage. And your movement is going to be Frost Blink of Wintry Blast. So with that said, that's for the most part the build. And I'm going to add some clips to the end, and you can see me do all the Uber bosses. Keep in mind, I didn't have all the gear I did now. I think a few things I changed is I didn't have a maxed out Frostbolts 21. I was at like 20 or something, so it's a little less damage. And yeah, but anyway, just wanted to make sure I got 40. I did all the bosses and all of these and tier 17s with 250 quality. I didn't have a mage blood when I did this, so it is possible for you guys to do it as well. Enjoy the clips. See you guys later. Peace.
some ingenious designs hidden in his memories. Observe! Wraeclast needs me! Darkness surrounds us! Elder's designs were flawed. Do you remember dying here? Will burn away sin. Feel the pull of the void. Yes, that's it. What are you? In this, the realm of the past, I am king, and you will bow. This one is my own creation. Wraeclast needs me. Repent! Plenty more where that came from. Face your destruction. Burn away sin. Sin surrounds you. Feel the pull of the void! No! Impossible! How? This isn't over. This will never be over. I will unify humanity.
It is not a battle you can win, hatchling. Perish. Riding mass. Perish.
Energize the sphere.
Consuming.
Be gone.
Riding mass. Succumb. Riding mass. Perish.
My champion. Energize the sphere.
Consume.
Be gone.
Riding mass. Fish. Liars escape from pain. Your absurd defiance ends here, hatchling.
Together.
Annihilation. The fires of 1,000 suns. You do not have the strength, hatchling.
That may be, but I am not alone.
How pathetic. Incineration. The fires of 1,000 suns. The hatchling
Until the
surprises.
handed me for this realm.
I see you, little one. You don't belong here. Run along. Turn back, trespasser. Cease this madness. You tamper with things you do not understand. Your recklessness will not go unpunished. This is your final warning. You force my hand again, little mouse. So be it. You've chosen to side with chaos. This is my world, and you shall obey my order. Ultimate chaos. Imperfect.
He's recovering. We need to find a way back quickly.
Behold the face of your unmaking.
Father, it's me. Let me help you.
The horror must be stopped. Obstacles destroyed. Embrace my inconsequential.
He's injured, but not for long. We need to get back.
I cannot lose them.
They lied to you, Father. I'm your true memory.
To save the future, the past must be sacrificed. Gain. Ultimate chaos.
Father, no!
Putrefy, rot, spoil, and fester.
Exile, do something!
utterly annihilated.
Was this a real talent? You finally caught my attention.
Your lives are meaningless. Rain of stars. Why resist? Glorious flames.
The others found strength in their projections. They became reliant on them.
Why run? What's the point? Creation itself. Rain of stars.
Life really interesting enough to warrant all this pain.
Your lives are meaningless. Creation itself. Why resist?
Yet see the futility of your efforts.
Your lives are meaningless. Be utterly annihilated. Why resist?
Why do you insist on continuing to exist?
Beyond, there is only horror. Die. Everlasting fire.
Feel the thrill of
The void. Die. I have seen beyond.
you will long for
Non-existence. Everlasting fire.
I felt something.
The prize piece comes to join.
My collection.
Stand still. A cascade of pain. Take this.
Pain will be returned tenfold. Space aligns. Behold my collection.
I will have what I want. Death will not be an escape. Scurry, scurry. Stand still.
Death made real.
Do what I say. Take this.
Exiles will be punished. Time contorts. Scurry. Scurry.
My irritation is growing. This will not be an escape. Scurry! Scurry! A cascade of pain! Do what I say! Stand still!
Death made real.
Take this! A cascade of pain! How?
Stop resisting. Reality bends. Punishment inescapable.
Arrogant toy! Death will not be an escape. Scurry! Scurry! Stand still! Take this! A cascade of pain! The prettiest. Stand still!
I require aid! The living toy must enjoy our contests, for it continues to play. You and I should do this again soon.
Children are capricious, Nomad. Be warned. The memory of your sting will fade soon enough, and so too will...
inevitable. You will know pain. I will bathe this world in blood. Impressive, but futile. You will know pain.